Hi everyone, I'm just waiting for a comment to appear. I was told a few weeks back that I was on a 30-day ban on a live feed, so I had to use a different account before. But I can now see, I thought I'd check and see that I can actually go live. Hi Danny, hi Master P, hi everyone, thank you for joining me. I'm doing my video tonight. Makes a change, Annie, doesn't it? To get a notification. Doing a video tonight, as most of you know, 2 years I've been walking the streets and been living this horror movie, because that's what it continually feels like. Every day is like Groundhog Day. Groundhog Day. And I wouldn't be myself if I didn't come online and tell you my opinion. I'm not forcing my opinion on you. I wouldn't do that. I've always told you to research yourself. It's the media that make you think a certain way, and it's the media that feeds you narratives. 2 years I've been on the streets, had many meetings with the police, with the government, with the MPs, one of the other parents with Boris Johnson. We've seen evil stare us in the face. We've seen the propaganda. We saw it with Brexit. Now, I respect everybody's opinion and that they're entitled to that, have their own opinion and do what they think is best for themselves and their family. But while everyone is distracted, thank you, Susie, for that. While everyone is distracted, I wanted to tell you about the legislation that was passed on the 25th of March, in case many of you have missed it. Now, one thing is, when you're distracted and full of fear, you can't think straight. And the time for critical thinking is critical right now. Now, after tonight, my videos will be few and far between. I will still be here, but I'm not playing into their hands. So we have to be smart. And I'm not playing into it. That's all I can say. Now, I'm going to tell you about the legislation. And it's very important. Yes, he did lie to the families. He has lied to us. He has seen the letter with 4 points for a retrial. And did nothing. So I know, because I've been there and I'm in this system, how much they don't care, how much they will use propaganda. JFK said it himself, didn't he? He told you about and warned us all about the propaganda machine. The legislation takes your rights away. That's what it does. If there's deaths in police custody, they can say it was COVID-19. There's no accountability. They can say it was COVID-19. They don't have to give a conformity medical evidence to the crematorium. They don't have to prove it. In the legislation passed on the 25th of March, they can come into your home. If they potentially, so under a presumption, they can come into your home and say to you that they believe your child has COVID-19. Now, you will need to get your child to comply. If you don't, they can enforce it. They can enforce it. One doctor now can sign you off as mentally ill. One doctor. This is all abuse of powers. And many are not seeing it because you're distracted. Remember, it's always about what you're not seeing. As many of you know, these 5G is all going up across the country while we're in lockdown. I'm not knowledgeable enough to speak on 5G, so I leave that to other people. I don't know enough to even comment. But that is going on. It's all about what you're not seeing and what you're not being told. And if you think this whole thing would be impossible to do under a plan, you're wrong. It's easier than you think. It's easier than you think. Now, when I end this video, I will tell you a couple of pointers of where to go and look and research yourself and see for yourself. I see with clarity because of what I've been put into, with clarity. We can't have protests. You won't be able to protest over nothing. When we was out on the streets last year, remember the black cabbies? Remember them? Yeah, our tradition, one of our traditions, because that's what it is. It's a very old tradition, the black cabbies. They were demonstrating against TfL. And I'm going to give you this as an example. They were demonstrating against TfL. Now go and look in a black cabbie group. You've got common purpose people online. Remember that, and look up common purpose people and see what they do, because they're assisting in this and they're doing it online. We have covert operations online, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter. Yeah? Doing this as well to us. You've got the media giants, yeah, crashing down. In the end, what we can have, only Amazon doing deliveries while people are running out of money. And when people run out of money and start starving, what are they going to do? Because they're leading you to believe that the government is helping them. They're not. I know people who are down to their last tenner and their last fiver. And then when looting comes, what are the media going to tell you? That it's far-right criminals? We've been there. So many people I've walked with, and we have difference of opinions on this, and I respect their opinions because that's what they believe, and I won't enforce anything on them. I believe different. I believe different because I see it, and I search for it, and I research it. People are running out of money. Looting will start. Elderly locked down in their homes. There's a lot of elderly out there that don't have family. They don't have them. Anyone can die now and they can tell you it was COVID-19, and you won't be able to prove anything because there'd be no there'd be no inquest by jury because they've covered that in the legislation. You have to read, you have to research, and then make up your own mind. Because right now, with what they're doing, is the first part of socialism. Communism. Communism. When did our societies break down? Because they're really broken at the moment. What is it going to tell? What's going to be put in the history books for the future generations to read about our generation? What's going to be put in there? But the black cabbies, their group has got common purpose people in it. So what's happening now is that TfL have Uber driving around the nurses and the doctors to the hospital. Why wouldn't you use the black cabs then? If this virus that is there is so dangerous, why wouldn't you use the black cabbies? Because the black cabbies have the partitioning. So they would be the safest to use, wouldn't they? Think common sense. Think outside the box. Absolutely, the legislation is legal. It's not lawful. It's not lawful. And I watched a video earlier of a copper standing there giving a statement to the media saying that if everyone is not listening properly, in the end they could come into the supermarkets and see what you have in your shopping trolley and see whether it's necessarily or not. What right would they have to come and check your shopping when you're at the checkout and tell you whether you need it or not? What has that to do with the virus? Nothing. It's to do with your freedoms, your rights, your choice. And what they've done now is offered the black cabbies the job of transferring the victims of COVID ID. Obviously, it's obvious that they are not going to accept that, isn't it? Because if they did and someone rang up and said they was not well and 111 said, oh, you've got the coronavirus, COVID-19, we'll send a black cabbie to you, it would then put people off the black cabs because they would think that all the black cabs are contaminated. Everything is there to see. They don't want it socialism. They don't want middle class. They're ruining all the small businesses. I went into a shop yesterday and the man was saying he's earning £80, £90 a week now, and that he's going to end up having to close his shop that he fought hard for in the first place. And that is common everywhere, everywhere. Now, it wouldn't be me if I didn't come online and say to you what I see. I've always felt a big responsibility towards you all because of what they did to my son, what I saw. And then on the streets, I met many like us, and many walked with us. The last year, as a yellow vest, we've been saying, and if you go back and look at our live feeds, you will see us saying it, that we were standing up to the globalism and communism was coming in the back door. We've been saying it. Now, like I said, I respect every one of you. I respect the people I've walked with that don't have the same opinion as me, that are watching the media machine, the BBC. How many times have we demoed against the BBC? Because of what they did with the paedophiles, how they protected them, how they protected Savile. Has everyone forgotten that they ignored Rotherham? That they ignored the abuse of their children? The murders of our boys and many others? These are the same people you're listening to now. The same people. And in the meantime, our rights are going. And right now they've got us acting like good little commies. That's what they've got us doing. And just remember, if looting does start and you see them portraying people as far-right criminals, just remember that those people that are looting the shops, the majority are looting because they're starving. And they need to put food on their table for them and their children. Just remember that, because that is what's going to come. I've seen enough to know. If you switched off your TV and you didn't buy a newspaper, you would not fear. You would not fear. Not fear. So I have to come on and tell you what I, think. It's a shame it's not like the 80s and 90s where everything was much simpler. Everyone got on. Neighbours would talk over the fence. It's not like that now, is it? Because they eradicated society as it went on. Our Christian values, our traditions. No Christians get justice in the court system. No Christians. I read a story yesterday of a girl called Leah Croucher. Please look up her story. She's been missing for over a year from Milton Keynes. And her parents have put out a statement. How they was told and asked by the police to protect the person that they feel may know more about what happened to their daughter. Hillsborough should tell you everything. How the papers lie. What the Sun did. You know, the Sun isn't bought in Liverpool by the people because they know. They know. So I wanted to tell you about the black cabbies because I thought that was a good example to tell you that if they really thought that this virus was such a threat, wouldn't they be using the black cabbies for the job? But if you go in the black cabbie groups, what you'll see is common purpose people. So when a black cab driver writes a comment asking if anyone is out working, do you know what the common people do? They write, stay in, you'll save lives, don't be so selfish. Well, that man or that woman is asking because they need to put food on their tables for their children. And you're telling them they're selfish. No. I don't want to say wake up because I think that's condescending and I think everything you need to find out yourself. But I'm here, I'm watching, I will come on now and again, but I'm not going to play into the government's hands, because you have to be smart as well at the same time. You have to be smart. And I'm not going to fall for their psychological warfare tricks. Someone told me a long time ago that there is a lot of meaning in words. So all I can say to you people is take care, never surrender, research yourself, and I'll give you 2 pointers. Look up common purpose people, see what they do, and go on to Twitter. If you have Twitter, you can try it on Facebook, but if you have Twitter, go on to Twitter as soon as you can, because a lot of accounts are being taken down. A lot of YouTube videos are being removed. Go on to Twitter and hashtag empty hospitals or hashtag film your hospital. And go and start finding out really what is going on. Because it'll always be about what they're not telling you. They create the problem. They know your reaction and they want you begging for a solution. Submissive collectivism. Take care, everyone. I'm still here. I'll watch as much as I can and look after each other. Thank you very much.